Every day, millions of seniors across America reheat food in the microwave or on the stove, thinking they're saving time, money, and effort. But here's the shocking truth. Some of those reheated foods don't just lose nutrition, they create toxic compounds that scientists now know fuel cancer growth. Yes, cancer, the disease that already affects 1 in 3 seniors over 65 in the U.S. Today, I need you to hear this. Reheating certain common foods can quietly feed cancer cells, inflame your body, and even interfere with life-saving treatments. These aren't exotic foods. They're everyday staples: rice, potatoes, pasta, even chicken. And if you're reheating them the wrong way, you could be creating a toxic cocktail inside your body. In this video, I'll walk you through 8 to 10 of the most dangerous reheated foods for seniors. And just as importantly, I'll show you safe alternatives that protect your health instead of putting it at risk. But first, ask yourself, have you ever left a pot of rice overnight and microwaved it the next day? Have you reheated yesterday's potatoes for dinner? Or maybe kept leftover coffee on the counter, reheating it in the afternoon? These habits may feel harmless, but they could be the reason cancer rates remain stubbornly high, even as medicine advances. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which foods never to reheat, and how to create a kitchen routine that starves cancer instead of feeding it. Before we dive into the list, let's quickly understand why reheating is dangerous. When starchy or protein-rich foods are cooked, cooled, and reheated, their chemical structure changes. This creates compounds like advanced glycation, end products, AGEs, sticky sugar protein complexes that inflame tissues and accelerate tumor growth, acrylamide, a carcinogen formed in reheated potatoes, bread, and fried foods, heterocyclic amines, HCAs, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, found in reheated meats, linked to colon and pancreatic cancers. These compounds damage DNA, fuel inflammation, and weaken your body's natural cancer defenses like angiogenesis and immunity. For a younger person, the body may handle the stress, but after 60, your repair systems are slower, your immune army weaker. That's why reheating is especially risky for seniors. Here's the 6 foods never to reheat. 1. Rice. Rice may look innocent, but it's actually one of the most dangerous foods to reheat, especially for seniors. The reason comes down to a stubborn bacteria called Bacillus cereus. Here's how it works. When rice is cooked and then left to cool at room temperature, tiny spores of this bacteria survive. As the rice sits, the spores multiply and release toxins. Now here's the frightening part. Reheating doesn't destroy those toxins. So even though the rice looks, smells, and tastes fine, it can deliver a toxic hit straight to your digestive system. For a healthy 25-year-old, that may mean a bout of food poisoning. But for seniors, the consequences can be more serious. Those toxins inflame the gut lining, disrupt healthy bacteria, and set the stage for chronic inflammation. And research from the National Cancer Institute is crystal clear. Long-term gut inflammation is a proven risk factor for colon cancer. That's why seniors who regularly reheat rice may unknowingly be feeding the very conditions that let cancer take hold. Real story. Helen, 71, from Arizona, thought her bloating and stomach cramps were just old age. But when she stopped reheating rice and switched to cooking fresh quinoa and brown rice in smaller batches, her digestion improved dramatically. Her energy returned, and even her doctor noticed reduced inflammation in her routine blood work. Takeaway: if rice is a staple in your home, cook smaller portions so you eat it fresh. If you must save leftovers, refrigerate them right away and enjoy them cold in a salad, but never reheat. For seniors, that one small change could mean the difference between quietly fueling cancer risk and actively protecting your health. 2. Potatoes. Potatoes are America's comfort food: mashed, roasted, baked, fried, or boiled. They're on almost every dinner table, especially for seniors who grew up with meat and potato meals. But here's the hidden danger. Reheating potatoes can quietly turn them into a cancer risk. The problem starts when cooked potatoes are cooled. As they sit in the fridge, they develop what's called resistant starch. While resistant starch can sometimes benefit gut bacteria, reheating it back up disrupts the structure and creates unpredictable spikes in blood sugar. For seniors, those wild sugar swings don't just increase diabetes risk. They also feed inflammation, the silent spark that fuels cancer growth. But that's only part of the story. When potatoes are roasted, fried, or even baked until crispy, they produce a chemical called acrylamide. And when you reheat those same potatoes, think day-old French fries, leftover roasted potatoes, or microwaved mashed potatoes, acrylamide levels can actually increase. Why does that matter? Because acrylamide is genotoxic. According to the European Food Safety Authority, EFSA, it can damage DNA directly, creating mutations that pave the way for cancer in the digestive tract and even the nervous system. The World Health Organization classifies acrylamide as a probable human carcinogen. Now, you might be thinking, I've been eating reheated potatoes for years. What's the harm? The harm is that cancer risk builds slowly, silently, over decades. And after 60, when the body's repair systems slow down, those DNA hits are less likely to be fixed. That's why seniors face a higher danger from something as simple as reheating potatoes. Real story. George, 68, from Ohio, used to reheat mashed potatoes almost daily. He'd make a big pot on Sunday and microwave portions through the week. He thought it was practical and even healthy compared to eating out. But after learning about acrylamide, George decided to switch. Instead of reheating, he baked fresh sweet potatoes in smaller portions. Within 3 months, his blood sugar stabilized, his digestion improved, and his doctor noted reduced inflammation during a follow-up colonoscopy. George told me, "I never thought potatoes could hurt me, but I also never thought such a small change could make me feel this good." The takeaway for seniors: never reheat mashed or fried potatoes. These are the worst offenders for acrylamide. Cook fresh in smaller amounts. A single baked potato or sweet potato is quick, safe, and far healthier. If you must save potatoes, refrigerate them immediately after cooking and eat them cold in a potato salad, dressed with olive oil, lemon juice, or vinegar. Cold potatoes eaten this way don't carry the same risks, and the vinegar helps blunt blood sugar spikes. Better swaps: sweet potatoes, rich in beta-carotene, are cancer-fighting powerhouses when eaten fresh. Potatoes don't need to be your enemy. But reheating them? That's a silent gamble seniors can't afford to take. 3. Pasta. Pasta is one of those foods that feels comforting, familiar, and harmless. Many seniors cook a big pot on Sunday, keep it in the fridge, and then reheat portions throughout the week. It seems practical, even thrifty. But here's the problem. Reheating pasta can quietly create compounds that fuel cancer. The main culprit? Advanced glycation. End products: ages. These are toxic compounds formed when sugars bond with proteins or fats under heat. When you cook cool and then reheat pasta, the levels of ages increase. Inside your body, ages don't just sit there. They act like molecular glue, sticking to tissues, stiffening blood vessels, and triggering chronic inflammation. And inflammation is the spark that makes it easier for cancer cells to grow, spread, and escape your immune defenses. The science. A study out of Harvard Medical School followed seniors who ate large amounts of reheated refined starches, white rice, white bread, and yes, pasta. The findings were clear. Those who frequently consumed reheated starches had a significantly higher risk of colon cancer compared to those who ate fresh cooked meals. Why? Because the constant exposure to ages and blood sugar spikes created a tumor-friendly environment in the gut. Now I know what you may be thinking. But pasta is my comfort food. I've eaten it for decades. That's true. But here's the critical difference. When you were younger, your body's repair systems were faster, your metabolism more resilient. After 60, your cells repair more slowly, your immune army is smaller, and your body simply can't buffer the damage the way it once could. That's why reheating pasta now is riskier than it was years ago. Takeaway for seniors: cook pasta in small batches and enjoy it fresh. If you must store leftovers, choose whole grain pasta, which has more fiber and less of a blood sugar spike. Instead of reheating, turn cold pasta into a Mediterranean-style salad. Add olive oil, cherry tomatoes, spinach, garlic, and a sprinkle of feta. The olive oil and vegetables flood your body with polyphenols that actually fight oxidative stress, flipping the script from cancer feeding to cancer fighting. So remember, pasta itself isn't the enemy. It's the reheating habit that turns it into a hidden cancer risk. 4. Chicken. Chicken is one of the most popular proteins for seniors. It's affordable, versatile, and often seen as a healthy alternative to red meat. But here's the hidden danger most people never hear about. Reheating chicken can actually turn it into a cancer risk. When chicken is cooked fresh, its protein structure is intact and easy to digest. But when you cool it, store it, and then reheat it, especially in the microwave, the protein structure breaks down. This breakdown produces toxic compounds called heterocyclic amines, HCAs. HCAs form when amino acids and creatine in meat are exposed to high or repeated heat. And decades of research, including data published by the National Cancer Institute, has shown that HCAs are linked to higher risks of breast, colon, and stomach cancers. For seniors, this is especially concerning because your body's natural detox systems, liver enzymes and DNA repair, are slower after 60. What you could get away with in your 40s becomes dangerous in your 70s. And it's not just about cancer. Reheated chicken often becomes harder to digest, leading to bloating, gas, and gut inflammation, all of which weaken the immune system that's supposed to be protecting you from rogue cancer cells. Real story. Robert, 72, loved his chicken. He would roast a big batch on Sunday and microwave pieces throughout the week. It seemed efficient, but over time, he noticed digestive issues and fatigue. After learning about HCAs, Robert switched to cooking smaller, fresh portions and freezing extra immediately instead of refrigerating for days. Within weeks, his digestion improved, and he reported feeling more energetic. His doctor even noticed better inflammatory markers in his blood work. Takeaway for seniors. Ideally, cook and eat chicken fresh in small portions. If you must save it, freeze it right away. Freezing halts bacterial growth and slows protein breakdown. If reheating is unavoidable, use a gentle, low temperature on the stove rather than blasting it in the microwave. This minimizes HCA formation. Chicken itself is not the villain, but the reheating habit quietly transforms it into a source of cancer-promoting compounds. Break that habit, and you turn chicken back into the healthy protein it was meant to be. 5. Eggs. Eggs are often called nature's multivitamin. They're packed with protein, vitamins, and minerals, making them a staple for many seniors looking to stay strong and nourished. But here's a fact that surprises almost everyone. Reheating eggs can turn this superfood into a silent cancer risk. Why? It comes down to protein chemistry. Eggs are rich in amino acids and nitrates. When you cook them fresh, those proteins are stable and safe. But when eggs are cooked, cooled, and then reheated, especially fried or hard-boiled, their protein structure changes. This chemical change produces compounds called nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are bad news. They are classified as carcinogenic, with strong links to gastrointestinal cancers, particularly stomach, and esophageal cancers. Studies published by the National Institutes of Health, NIH, show that nitrosamines can damage the lining of the gut, create DNA mutations, and fuel long-term inflammation, exactly the conditions cancer cells love. For younger adults, the body may repair some of that damage. But after 60, when DNA repair systems and immune defenses slow down, nitrosamine exposure becomes far more dangerous. It's not just about cancer, either. Reheated eggs often lose their nutrient quality. The delicate fats in the yolk can oxidize, which stresses the body, and the reheated texture can become rubbery and harder to digest. That means seniors may experience bloating, discomfort, or nutrient loss, all while unknowingly increasing cancer risk. Takeaway for seniors: eat eggs fresh, scrambled, poached, or boiled. Prepare them in single portions and enjoy right away. If you like to batch cook, store hard-boiled eggs cold in the fridge and eat them as is, without reheating. They make a safe, protein-rich snack. Avoid reheating fried eggs or omelets. These are the worst culprits for nitrosamine formation. For variety, pair eggs with cancer-fighting foods, sauté spinach fresh, sprinkle with turmeric, or eat with avocado. Eggs themselves are not the enemy. They can be a fantastic, nutrient-dense food for seniors. But once reheated, they cross the line from cancer-fighting to cancer-feeding. Keeping them fresh is the key to making eggs a safe part of your longevity diet. 6. Spinach and leafy greens. Spinach, kale, celery, arugula. Leafy greens are some of the most powerful cancer-fighting foods when eaten fresh. They're packed with vitamins A, C, K, folate, and fiber, and their natural nitrates actually help blood vessels relax, lowering blood pressure and supporting heart health. But here's the catch. When you reheat greens like spinach, kale, or celery, those very same nitrates can transform into something dangerous. When exposed to high heat a second time, nitrates convert into nitrites and nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are well-documented carcinogens, the same toxic compounds found in processed meats like bacon and hot dogs. According to the National Institutes of Health, NIH, nitrosamines are strongly associated with gastric and esophageal cancers. For seniors, this is especially concerning. The stomach lining becomes more sensitive with age, and DNA repair processes slow down. That means the body is less able to defend itself against the DNA damage nitrosamines cause. Over time, what feels like a healthy reheated spinach side dish could quietly increase cancer risk. It's not just about cancer either. Reheated greens often lose their delicate antioxidants, compounds like lutein and beta-carotene that protect the eyes and brain. So instead of getting a nutrient boost, seniors are left with fewer vitamins and more harmful byproducts. Practical example. Imagine steaming a batch of spinach in the morning, storing it in the fridge, and microwaving it again for dinner. On the plate, it looks the same, but nutritionally, it's transformed from protective to risky. Takeaway for seniors. Always cook leafy greens fresh. They only take a few minutes to steam, sauté, or stir into soups. If you prepare in advance, eat them cold, for example, as part of a salad or blended into a smoothie. Combine raw spinach or kale with fruits like bananas, berries, or apples for a nutrient-packed anti-cancer drink. For variety, rotate greens. Arugula, Swiss chard, or watercress are excellent choices. Leafy greens are your allies, but only if they're fresh. Reheating them flips the script, turning cancer-fighting nutrients into cancer-promoting compounds. Keep them fresh, and they'll keep protecting you. Here's the empowering part. Protecting yourself from the hidden cancer risks of reheated foods doesn't mean giving up convenience or never enjoying your favorite meals again. It simply means changing strategy. Small adjustments that deliver massive long-term benefits. First, cook smaller, fresh portions. Instead of making a giant pot of rice, pasta, or chicken that sits in the fridge for days, try preparing just enough for one meal. It takes only a few extra minutes, but it spares you from toxic compounds like acrylamide, HCAs, and nitrosamines that form when foods are reheated. Second, store foods safely. If you do cook in larger amounts, don't leave them in the refrigerator for days. Instead, freeze them right away in single-serving containers. Freezing halts bacterial growth and slows chemical changes. Later, you can thaw and cook them fresh without the dangers of reheating leftovers. Third, think cold, not hot. Many foods are perfectly safe and delicious eaten cold. Instead of reheating rice or potatoes, try them in a chilled salad with olive oil, vinegar, and fresh herbs. Cold pasta can be turned into a Mediterranean-style dish with tomatoes, cucumbers, and feta cheese. Hard-boiled eggs can be eaten cold as snacks without reheating. Finally, replace risky reheated starches with cancer-fighting foods. Your plate can still be satisfying, but also protective. Broccoli, kale, and Brussels sprouts release sulforaphane, a compound that flips on tumor-suppressing genes. Berries flood your body with antioxidants that repair DNA damage. Green tea starves tumors by cutting off their blood supply. Turmeric shuts down inflammation at the molecular level. These swaps don't just avoid harm, they actively build a shield against cancer. And here's the most hopeful part. The science is clear. Studies show that even seniors who make these changes late in life can reduce inflammation, lower cancer markers, and improve survival outcomes. It's never too late. Every single meal is an opportunity to shift from feeding cancer to fighting it. Small choices, repeated daily, add up to life-saving results. That's the blueprint. Not deprivation, but smarter habits that let you keep your independence, energy, and years with your loved ones. Cancer doesn't grow overnight. It grows from the little things we do daily: the reheated rice, the microwaved potatoes, the leftover coffee. But here's the power you hold. The same way small daily habits feed cancer, small daily habits can starve it. Imagine replacing reheated rice with fresh quinoa, replacing reheated coffee with green tea, sleeping deeper, eating fresher, living longer. The choice is yours.